Okay, this is a test. We are testing the SC Designs F-16. This is the Charlie model. You get the Charlie, the Delta, which is the two-seater, and the India, which is the Israeli version. This particular livery that I'm using is the Aggressor livery. Kind of wish they had the Lizard Aggressor livery, but they don't. But they do have this one. And I'm a huge fan of Aggressor liveries, primarily because they are often found at this place. This is Miramar, the one-time home of the Fighter Weapons School, the Naval Fighter Weapons School, aka Top Gun. This is Fightertown, USA, right here. And look at those beautiful Hornets. Or actually, more to the point, Super Hornets, the ones that replaced the Tomcat. And on the opposite side, of course, we have F-35s, Bravo models. This is now a Marine Corps Air Station, Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. And we're going to be traveling from here to Naval Air Station El Centro, but we're going to do a little bit of a roundabout route so that way we can do some shenanigans and stuff and hopefully not get into a flat spin and go out to sea, because that would be bad. You can see we've got a player there. I don't know if that's anyone I know, but yeah, here we go. But yes. So this is SC Designs, as I stated. SC Designs is the brother of DC Designs. So DC Designs, I'm sure you remember, created the F-15 Eagle and, of course, the F-14 Tomcat, as well as the Stearman. So this is their latest offering, the F-16, under the handle of SC Designs. You can see a lot of the same pedigree. You can see a lot of the same techniques that they have used for texturing and whatnot. And of course, I've also added a payload here for us to travel with. I'm not sure how realistic the payload is, but we've got extra drop tanks, just in case, because we might need drop tanks. You never know. We've also got 2 HARM missiles, AGM-88s, right there. And of course, we've got the AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles, the medium-range air-to-air missiles, and the AIM-9 Sparrows. I don't believe this is the X model, however. I think this is the M model. So yeah, there we go. Not a very realistic loadout, but it'll do for our flight. And I want to say this should be like a lantern pod, or no, it's too small to be a lantern pod. Whatever it is, I don't know what its correlation is in real life, because it doesn't look like anything I've ever seen hanging off the bottom of the Hornet, like, well, not the Hornet, but the Viper like that. That's kind of wild. All right, so we're going to hop in and we're going to start everything up. We'll try to do it by the books, but failing that, we can always just do the cheat, the Control E, and we'll go from there. And just to remind you, since this is a chill video, there is very little editing, which means whatever happens, happens. All right, before we hop in, let's take a look at their external static cameras, as we like to do, just to make sure that we got some good views to work with here. So this is our standard behind the aircraft shot. Turkey feathers on the afterburner looks nice. Let me do my controls check while I'm at it here. Rudder works. Elevators work. Ailerons work, although the flaps are by default drooping. I honestly don't remember if that was the case, even though I've been quote unquote flying the F-16 since the Falcon 4.0 days. It's not one that I fly often these days. I don't even fly it that much in DCS, believe it or not. I'm usually spending my time with the US Navy or military birds, or of course the helicopters. All right, here's our second camera, which is the standard side view camera. I'm okay with that. I have to kind of turn my head to the right a little bit, so picture may look crooked on your screen. Here's the other side. She is kind of photogenic. She is definitely kind of photogenic. I'm still not a huge fan of the painted on lines. I think for the extra work that could have gone into, actually modeling where the seams are and where the rivets are might have been better. But, it is what it is. It still looks good once you put a coat of paint on it. And then there's this camera. Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm going to need to fix this and send this over to DC and SC Designs because I'm pretty sure this is intended to be a landing gear cam. At least we can see the landing gear. Okay, let's hop in the office. We'll check that out. All right, so the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that I already have the checklist right there. There is, of course, a reason for that. We're going to be using the checklist. We're going to try and start it up the right way with the checklist, so we'll see. First thing I can really tell you, they certainly do have a lot of the switches here. Not everything is 100% correct, so if you're looking for DCS quality, you may as well stop watching the video right now. You're not going to find it here. But as far as does it give you the impression that you are in an F-16, yeah, it most certainly does. Like I said, some things are incorrect. I'm not so sure about those gear lights. I think those should be green, but I could be wrong. I guess it depends on what block they're modeling here. That does look kind of like the throttle for the F-16. Your various switches for engines, lights, fuel, and all that good jazz. RWR switches over here and whatnot. Now, the first thing that I can say, because of course, I do everything in VR. This feels a little small in VR. This does not feel to scale to me in VR. It feels a little small. But admittedly, I have not been in something like the DCS F-16 for a while. I do know those lights should definitely be bigger than what they are. So that seems to me that it's a pretty clear indicator that the cockpit is a little smaller than it should be in VR. However, the stick itself looks like the right size. So it's kind of weird. It's like some portions of it do seem too small, other portions of it seem fine. Not quite sure exactly what the issue is. But with that having been said, we're going to go ahead and get everything started up. And I'll try to show you what I can. Bear in mind, what we're looking at here is the beta version. So it is not released as of yet. It should be released as of December the 8th, which more than likely December the 8th will come and pass before this video goes up. But that having been said, we're going to remember that this model that I'm recording with is the beta model. All right, so battery on, avionics on, and we can go ahead and just tick those off. HUD power switch, where are you? You are radar alt, your alternator, which is already on, ATT. HUD power is already on. Do we have a HUD on here? I can't tell. What if I turn you off? Okay, now you're telling me I can turn you on, so there we go. We're going to turn it on. All right, strobe light and fuel valve. Okay, strobe lights are going to be over this side. We can actually set on our position lights as well. So there we go. Both of those are on. Fuel valve switch. Need to push that to open. Now, you know what? I'm not 100% certain where the fuel valve switch is. I know it should be on the other side. But considering the fact that at least DC Designs does have a habit of putting stuff in places where it may not actually be in the real bird, Tomcat fire extinguishers, for example, I'm kind of curious as to where exactly it is. Kind of have a feeling as to where it should be, though. That's fuel dump. That's fuel transfer. That's refueling probe. There is no refueling probe on this, by the way. It's basically just a socket that a probe goes into. But yeah. All right. I don't see the thing for the fuel. This is a jettison here. Canopy lever close. That's interesting. And I'm pretty sure if I go that, they haven't done anything with those, so I should not have a fuel valve switch. Interesting. I wonder where they put it. I'm telling you where it's supposed to be. And of course, those of you who are familiar with DCS already know where it is supposed to be. But I'm also telling you, I don't see it. Oh, de-energize all pumps. Would it be that? We're going to go with that. It's not an actual fuel valve switch, but it does appear to be set in normal. I wonder if I have a button for that. I don't know that I do. Let me check. Yeah, that might do it. Okay. Throttle is closed. Engine starter engage. And 1 and 2. Okay, so we can go ahead and engage the engine starter, and that should get us up and running. Oh, what was that? What just flipped? That's our master fuel right there. Well then. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Not gonna complain. Alright, so we're good to go with that. So that's startup. Obtain taxi clearance, parking brakes off, max taxi speed 10 knots. Yes. While we're waiting for everything to start up, I'll tell you an interesting little story. So when I was playing Falcon 4.0, way back in the day, we're talking the original, before it even became BMS, I joined a squadron known as the Freebirds. When I joined the squadron, of course, I picked my own call sign. I went by Bacchus. However, as is often the case, in order to get a call sign, usually it is something stupid that you do, or something thereabouts. So on my first flight out with the wing lead, and I think there were 2 other guys, but it was a training sortie nonetheless. We were supposed to take off, formation takeoff, and of course after we take off, maneuver out. Well, we start down the runway, we get to our rotate speed, and I over-rotated. Struck the tail, spun out, hit my wing lead. Ever since that day, my call sign has been Striker. Of course, I had them spell it with a Y because I wanted to be different. I didn't want it to just be the proper way of spelling Striker. But yeah, there's my story for you. All right, so like I said, we're going to El Centro. However, we've got a little bit of a route that we're traveling. This, I believe, is our heading bug. I'll be honest with you folks, I'm not too keen on using this particular gauge. As you can imagine, we can do that, and that'll turn off all the other stuff. But a lot of this stuff is arbitrary. It is definitely not like the MFDs that you will find in the F-16 or any other fighter jet. It won't show you the proper buttons. Like in an F-16 and in most other fighters that have screens like this, we're used to the center button being menu, and then from the menu you can go through all the various choices for what you want to see on the screen. It's a multifunction display. I don't know that this will even do that. Yeah, terrain display. Yeah, I got nothing there. So it is possible that they have not programmed in some of these features in there because, you know, they are known for updating their craft a lot once everything's been released. So usually what we'll get is the bare bones, and then as time goes on, they'll start adding to it. But right now, that looks to be pretty much all the functionality you're going to get out of this. Now, the other side is interesting because the other side, I think, is a pretty cool idea. I think the implementation of it could use a little bit of work, but it is a pretty cool idea. What it looks to me to be is a cross between synthetic vision and a flare, which would kind of sort of make sense if the pod that we've got on the chin there is a flare pod. But you'll notice that the tarmac is the actual color that the tarmac is, and then we've got the little green that I can only assume is a hillside afterwards, and then a black sky. I think what they should have done with this is they probably should have found a way to make this grayscale so that it would more closely mimic a flare pod. But I guarantee if they can figure this out, then other developers can figure it out as well, and we may well have something resembling actual forward-looking infrared. I'm okay with this. I'm very okay with this. All right, we have wasted enough gas, so let's see if we can take off here. Seat is not armed. Yeah, I should probably do that, huh? And let me go ahead and get our landing lights on while I'm thinking about it. There we go. I don't recall these buttons lighting up when they turn on. But again, that's all stuff that, honestly, at this point, knowing DC and SC designs, I'm just going to call it artistic license. It's obviously not meant to be exactly a replica of the real thing, but I guess quality of life improvements. I don't know what else to really call it. Kind of like this. So this here, this is a big thing. This is the DED, which is the digital display. The only thing that looks the same between this and the real thing, or even the DCS, or going further back, even the FSX and P3D versions, the only thing that remains the same is the shape of this display and the fact that the type is colored on black. These little buttons that you see on either side, they don't have those on a DED. And typically a DED only has like about 3 lines, not really much more. Sometimes 4, I think, but there's only space for like 3 lines, and the lettering is definitely not that tiny. But everything has a function, and I'm sure if you want to figure out what the functions are, you can read the manual. All right, as for me, I'll go ahead and get clearance to take off. Okay, we are going to tell them we are departing straight out.
Miramar ground Viper 70 with Charlie, request taxi for takeoff departing straight out.
Viper 70 taxi to and hold short of runway 24 right using taxiway Echo. Contact tower on 135.2 when ready.
Will do.
Taxiing hold short runway 24 right via taxiway Echo Viper 70.
All right, well, that's good enough for me. Okay, parking brakes off. Well, yeah, the parking brake switch is in the correct place. This is good. Nice going there, boys. I'm not quite sure what that Hornet is doing there, but he's tying up my runway. So we're about to cut in on his dance. Incidentally, before I forget, I know it's flashed on the screen by now, but I didn't exactly tell you, did I? This particular version of Miramar that we are at is brought to us by Latin VFR. This is brand spanking new. It just released. Originally, I was going to use the DC Designs freeware version of Miramar. But folks, I can't mince words on this one. Latin VFR's Miramar blows the pants off of every other rendition of Miramar I have seen, including DC Designs and including the new default that we got with Sim Update 7. This is just far superior than anything I've seen. And we're probably going to have to buzz the tower, by the way. Just giving you a heads up from now. I know I'm not in a Tomcat. I know traditionally these kinds of shenanigans are done in a Tomcat, but this is not the Tomcat episode. So we're going to do it in an F-16. Alright, I think this guy is parked off to the side. I don't think he's actually on the runway, so I'm okay with that. Watch, he's probably going to take off when I do. Alright, what's our elevation? About 460, roughly. Yeah. Maybe he is on the runway. You planning on doing a formation takeoff with me there, buddy? I mean, you're more than welcome to. I welcome anybody who's going to fly with me. It's not like you're going to try and shoot me down or anything. All right, parking brakes on, and let's get clearance to take off.
Miramar Tower Viper 70 at runway 24 right, ready for departure, departing straight out.
Viper 70 altimeter 29.9er 2 phoneme alphabet equals X Microsoft UPS.
There it goes again.
WIHND wind/phoneme 179er at 8. Straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 24 right.
All right, that's all I needed to know. You didn't have to do all the whole rigmarole there.
Cleared for takeoff runway 24 right, Viper 70.
Okay, so we've got our clearance to take off, and I am going to check everything really quick. Flaps seem to be automatic, so you know what? I'm not going to mess with them. My flap lever is up. If I need to pull up the flaps in an emergency, I can always use that. But as for right now, I'm just going to leave everything as it is. All right, I do want a few more lights though. So panel lights. Wait. Is that the off position? It looks like the on position. So we're going the opposite way. So we're actually turning them off, which is counterclockwise, to get the panel lights on. Yeah, sure enough, because if you look at the console that we're sitting on here, this is turning them down and this is turning them up. So this knob is opposite. What about this console light here? All right, that one's moving the right way, clockwise. I don't really see much of a light. We'll leave it on though, because it's really not hurting anything. Pitot heat should be back here somewhere, I think. Yeah. Okay, that's on. And what is this? What are you? Windshield, de-ice. Okay. I'm not sure what's the story on this pipe just kind of hanging there. Yeah, that doesn't look right to me. But, yeah. All right, let's go. And where did our Hornet buddy go? Did he take off already? I guess. All right, we're going to taxi to the active, and I'm going to go to the outside view for that. Wait, why am I wearing conformal fuel tanks? I'm pretty sure when we started this thing, we did not have conformal fuel tanks. What is going on here? Hold on. Alright, I might as well show this to you anyway. So, in the fuel page. Alright, see this says center 1. I'm assuming this is our drop tank, but center 2 is a conformal fuel tanks. We don't want that. So we're going to turn that the heck off. I'm also going to take center 1 out because I think center 1 is our center drop tank. I just want the wing tanks. Alright, let's see if that did the trick. Go back to the outside view. Well, it got rid of the conformal tanks. I'm okay with that. I've still got the center drop tank, so I'm guessing that is not the control for the center drop tank. Pilot looks nice, though. I like the fact that his head moves. Alright, we've lollygagged enough. Let's go flying. Parking brakes off. Taking the active. Oh, I did say I was going to do that in the outside view, right? We're going to use this camera. Now, we are a little heavy, so this is probably going to be a full burner takeoff. Especially with these drop tanks full of fuel. There we go, 2-4 right. And we'll go ahead and park there. Okay, you know what it's time for, folks. Brakes down, throttles up. There we go, 135, 140, and rotate. Gear up. And look at that. Looks like Air Force One or something over there. There's a bunch of CH-53s, the Super Stallion, and a bunch of Ospreys, MV-22s. Very nice, very nice. Alright, so let's get it off of autopilot, or not autopilot, but afterburner. And we're going to swing back around here in a moment. Because I do want to buzz the tower, Goose.
Viper 70 leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
Well, perfect timing. Bye.
Miramar Tower Viper 70 frequency change.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's a nice day out, too. They will never see us coming. Alright, so this one is for Maverick and Goose and everybody else who loves these kinds of shenanigans. And then we'll head out to sea, literally. Okay, well that was fun. I enjoyed that. Hope you did too. Let's see, I can't really see the HUD all that well. It says we're at Mach 0.9, so we're just shy of the speed of sound. I haven't checked to see if sonic boom and all that have been modeled in here. I'm going to assume yes. However, I could always be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that they did model it. Alright, so the reason why we're heading out to sea, I'm looking for a ship that I want to use in one of the upcoming videos. So no doubt by now you've already seen the F-35 video that I did. That was a preview. The F-35 is about to release. It's been delayed a little bit, but that's because Dino wants to make sure that everything is fine before he ships it off to his distributors and everything. And I really do commend him for that. But since I'm still rocking the beta version, I do have 3 ships around the area. And there's one just off the coast of California here, and that would be the LHA-7 or the Tripoli. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm going to go to the outside view and see if I can find it. Alright, I've got no eyes on. However, what I can do, I do have a shortcut now for the VFR map. So let's zoom this bad boy out and see if we can find it. Okay, it is off to the left of where we are, so we're going to need to... Oh, there it is, right there. We're going to need to brake left. Pull the throttle back to about 85%. Apologies if it's a little too loud. I'm hoping that my voice will actually overpower the noise. But honestly, I forgot to turn the surround sound down. Normally I do have surround sound going when I'm just flying. I should have turned it down before starting recording. Alright, let's put the throttle at idle here. And that is our first waypoint, the LHA Tripoli. Look at that beautiful ship. So that one is by India Foxteco, and we're going to be taking a closer look at that with the F-35 Bravo model at a later time. Alright, now we're going to hit the border. We're going to head towards Mexico. We're not actually going to go into Mexico, but we're going to get kind of close to their airspace here. And first I want to do some shenanigans. So, we're going to go to the outside view, and let's see, what can we do? We can probably try a loop. Oh, that's lovely. The weather just changed. Interesting. Well, that ought to drop my FPS, but it does give me an opportunity to go vertical. By the way, Asobo, yeah, this needs fixed. This should not be happening. I will say this, the sounds of this bird are absolutely amazing. Not sure what they used for their source material, but this is really high quality. They really got some good sounds for the F-16. Sounds like a fighter jet. It really does. It really does. So I will give them mad props for that. That is a good thing. You can see on our little, well, I'm calling it a fleur. It's not exactly a fleur, but that's exactly what we're calling it. You can see the color scheme does look more monochrome. Now, that's kind of what it should be. It should be more grayscale, more monochrome. Alright, so our next waypoint is coming up, which is KNR something, KNRS. That's right there. Looks like we're going to want to hit the deck there, so let's do that. Let's do some shenanigans at low level. Now, I'm not going to put the speed brakes out just yet, because we're only at 450, and honestly, maneuvering speed in this bird is roughly around 350-ish. So we're okay with gaining a little bit more speed. Alright, this isn't our airport, is it? It might very well be. Well, we're going to buzz it too. that could have easily have been a departure, and yeah, this weather really came in, didn't it? Oh my God. My FPS has taken a heavy hit. I should have just set like some of those preset weather settings, because where the heck did all of this come from? I'm pretty sure it never rains like this in California. Holy crap. Well, you know what? I want to go through that little loop. Ah, it's disappeared now. Damn it. There was a hole in the cloud, like right there, and it was the perfect size for an F-16 to punch through. Oh, there's another one over here. We're going to try this one. I do notice once you get considerably higher above maneuvering speed, it becomes a little difficult for you to maneuver. Now, this aircraft is well known for being very nimble. That's kind of its claim to fame. So I'm not 100% convinced of that. I feel like it is lacking something a little bit when it comes to its maneuverability. It's missing the famed maneuverability. But then, like I said, you want to watch out for your maneuvering speed, which should be roughly around 350. But even so, you should be able to pull some significant G's and whatnot if you're up at like around 500 or so. Just watch out for your coffin corners. That's your combinations of speed and angle of attack that can basically cause you to stall even though you're above the actual stall speeds. So we're supposed to be close to CA-75, which is a small GA airport here in California. Don't know if it's a grass strip or not, or maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah, we're passing it right now. Yeah, those clouds are awfully low. I'm not quite certain what the story is on that. That's kind of wild. That is kind of wild. But we're going to continue following our course here. I would like to say there is a way to put the course on this. However, I really don't know that there is. I mean, it will tell you at the very, very bottom in extremely tiny text what your current leg is. But yeah, I'm not seeing the magenta line on there, so that's why we've got the VFR map up. I do notice this thing likes to trap the ILS as well too, so it'll show you your localizer and your glide slope on that screen. So that's handy. It's not realistic, but it is handy. Usually you would see stuff like that on your HUD, like little ILS bars and whatnot. But then I haven't even checked to see if they've modeled the ILS bars on the HUD. We've just been flying it for fun. The old-fashioned way, by the seat of our pants. I mean, it feels good, though. I will give them that. My quibbles aside from it, because, I mean, like I said, I have a long history with the F-16, starting from Falcon 4.0. I mean, all of that stuff aside, it is fun to fly. It does kind of feel like I'm in an F-16. It is very different, however, from all the other F-16s that I've flown in Falcon 4.0, DCS World, FSX, and P3D. By the way, don't forget, P3D does have a native F-16. Gotta figure, it's Lockheed Martin, right? And actually theirs was made by Aerosoft, of all people. I did put a video up on that a long time ago. I want to say back in like 2017 or 2018. I don't know, maybe I'll link it in the video comments or in the video description below if you want to check it out. That was one of my first forays into VR, and I did so with P3D. And it was in an F-16. You can probably compare notes if you watch that video as far as what does the cockpit look like. Honestly, between you and I, the Aerosoft P3D version of the F-16 that ended up becoming a default aircraft in P3D version 4 and up, that was modeled more accurately than this is. But, again, throwing all of that aside, does it make me feel like I am having fun in an F-16? Absolutely. Especially when I can do a snap roll like that. So I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I'm not looking at it from the standpoint of a hardcore flight simmer who's got so many hours, you know, and has tallied so many kills virtually. I'm just looking at it as a guy who on a Tuesday night, when I'm recording this, wants to just hop around and have some fun in a plane that can go fast and kind of looks like the real thing. That's where we're coming from on that. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let me check our gas. Gas is down to 70%. I hope those conformal fuel tanks have not reappeared, because that was annoying. I'm going to go back to the outside view. Why? Because I'm tired of talking right now, and it looks like we're getting close to our waypoint anyway, so let's do some more shenanigans before we get there. Don't mind the texture glitches. Still waiting for a Sobo to fix that. Alright, let's go vertical because we need to do an Immelman so that we can go back the other way. And look at that, beautiful sunset. Because I was inverted. Alright, let's brake right over this nifty little airport. So yeah, as long as you're mindful of your speed and your angle of attack, you can fly this bird pretty successfully. Now, landing is going to be interesting because, as I'm sure you know, when you're landing an F-16, or really any fighter jet for that matter, a lot of what you do has to do with making sure that you are properly trimmed, and of course, obeying this little guy to the left here, the AOA indexer. Which brings me to an actual bone of contention that I do have currently with DC and SC designs. Their AOA indexers, to me, are incorrect. And the reason why I can say that is I know for a fact that they pretty much copied over the Tomcat AOA indexer, which was incorrect because it was missing the green chevron at the top to indicate that you are too slow and not on speed. However, they pretty much put the same colors on the AOA indexer here. Why does that matter? Well, this is an Air Force bird. The F-16 has different colors in different places. The bottom chevron should be yellow. The donut, little circle in the center that indicates that you're on speed, should be green. And then, of course, the top one should be red, the top chevron. So that needs to be fixed. Now, I understand where DC Designs is coming from. They are basically targeting the kind of audience that probably is not even going to know what an AOA indexer is. If there's anybody out there that's not familiar with an AOA indexer, by all means, chime in. Chime in right now. Let me know. However, for the rest of us who do, and for the rest of us who actually want to fly this thing kind of sort of similar to how we are supposed to, it might be a useful thing for you to add that in there. And I also noticed that the nose wheel steering and all that stuff doesn't appear to be lit on this side, or maybe I just can't see it because of my current head position. But either way, we're at our airport now. This is El Centro. This is the Naval Air Station, and we're going to need to contact El Centro, tell them we're coming in.
El Centro Tower Viper 702 miles southeast, 1,500 feet to land.
Not nearly as impressive.
Altimeter 29.9 phoneme alphabet equals X Microsoft UPS.
Oh, good grief.
WIHND, wind slash phoneme tree 59er and 8. Fly left traffic runway tree 0.
Left traffic runway 30, Viper 70.
Make left downwind runway tree 0, Viper 70.
Okay. Well, we're doing that now. All right, let's go ahead and get our gear down. So yeah, those red lights, they should be green. Should not be red. But I guess it depends on what block they're modeling, because I think some of them were red. You'll have to forgive me because I am not as fully versed on the Viper as I am, say, the Tomcat. I can tell you anything you want to know about the Tomcat. Viper, the only reason why I flew it was because of the fact that I was in that virtual squadron, and that is what we flew. Alright, but 30 appears to be the opposite runway to where we are right now, so we are now downwind. And I'm going to try and trim us up here. I've been having issues with the trim in this thing. We'll see if it works now. Okay, I've let go of the stick, and I'm trimming us up. Where's my donut?
Viper 70 phoneme alphabet equals X Microsoft UPS PH equals WIHND, wind slash phoneme tree 59er and 8. Cleared to land runway tree 0.
Alright, cleared to land, runway 30, Viper 70.
Cleared to land runway tree 0, Viper 70.
Trying to trim this thing up here. We're at about 140 knots, 900 feet. We're still going downwind, basically. Alright, so yeah, we've got the yellow donut there, but that's what I mean. That is incorrect. That should be a green donut, not a yellow donut. And if I were to overcorrect here, I should be seeing a red chevron at the top. Alright, but we're going to turn. We really need to get this bird down. Even though we got plenty of gas, I don't want us to fall out of the sky either, so give it a little bit of rudder. There's our runway. We're at the 90. It's of course Navy parlance. I don't think Air Force really says we're at the 90. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I was never really much of an Air Force person. My family is Navy and Marines, so go Navy. Go Marines. Air Force, what that? Alright, so we're looking good on final. We're going to go to the outside view really quick just to make sure everything looks good. I would love to show you the landing gear camera, but I'm going to need to fix that for them, so I won't be showing that to you. We are crabbing a little too, by the way. Alright, I am actually lifting my stick or pulling it back just a touch to try and keep that donut on because that is the way this thing is supposed to be. But I should be able to just do that with the trim. I'm not quite sure why the trim is not behaving. But with that having been said, here we go. Let's bring her in. Throttle to idle. Speed brakes out. A little floaty there. We are a little floaty. But good old aerodynamic braking does the trick. And now that we are below 100, we can start putting on the brakes. I'm guessing this is our taxiway.
Exit runway when able.
I would love to, except I don't know where to exit. I guess we'll pick up the next one. Missed this exit. Alright, so VFR map, thank you for your assistance. That was invaluable. Really appreciate you there. And I guess we just pretty much pick a parking spot, any spot, because this airport isn't really modeled. By the way, if anybody wants to model El Centro, there it is, right there. Make it happen. Put some Navy birds down there for me, please. Greatly appreciate it.
Viper 70, turn next taxiway.
I'm going to make a taxiway, like right here. This is now a taxiway.
Viper 70, contact ground on 121.9er.
Oh, I won't.
Going to 121.9er Viper 70.
And actually, since I have no idea where the heck parking would be in a place like this that is not modeled, X marks the spot. We're going to go with that. Right about there. Okay, parking brakes on. Let's get our canopy open. And we'll go ahead and power everything down. I guess I should probably turn the lights off too, huh? So that's off. That's off. That's off. Okay, so this light here, this dimmer light here, this apparently is the green glow that we're seeing. Interesting. I don't remember if this aircraft has a green or a red glow, but it does look cool. So I'm going to let them slide on that one there. I like it. This knob, however, is reversed. This needs to be fixed. And glare shield lighting. We didn't check that one. That one turns the right way. Is there actual glare shield lights? I don't really see anything. Okay, well, I guess it is what it is then. All right. But we are here. Welcome to Naval Air Station El Centro. And I'm going to go back to the outside drone camera here for our goodbye. So there you go. Oh, I should probably put the speed brakes up, huh? Good thing they can work when the engine's off. So there you go, folks. This is the SC Designs, brother of DC Designs, F-16 C Charlie model Viper, or actually, technically, it's called the Fighting Falcon. Technically, actually, but yeah, everybody who knows this plane calls it the Viper, so that is what we're going to call it, but it is actually the F-16 Fighting Falcon. We got a beautiful sunset shot there. I'm thinking that might be our thumbnail. Provided, of course, this video hasn't come out hella stuttery. I was having some issues last night trying to record this. So hopefully they have resolved themselves enough for me to actually put this video up. But yeah, there you go. It's by DC Designs, so standard disclaimer, do not expect DCS quality products. They know it. They plan it that way. That is a deliberate design choice. They want to basically make fighter jet light. That's what you're looking at here. Is it worth it for you? Well, that's entirely up to you to decide, and I am not going to convince you one way or the other. If you're a huge fan of the F-16 and you want to fly one around in Microsoft Flight Simulator right now, this is the best one there is. So go for it if you want to go for it, but only if you want to go for it. All right, but that will just about do it for me. So thank you as always for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just to remind you, the aircraft that we are looking at is the SC Designs F-16 Charlie model, the Viper, or the Fighting Falcon if you prefer. The aircraft, or the airport, I should say, that we took off from was Miramar, KNKX. Miramar is by Latin VFR. The links will be in the video description below. Even though technically this is a preview video, since it may go on YouTube around the time that this aircraft is available for sale, I will have the link in the video description. So look for that. All right, but that'll just about do it for me. So thank you again for watching. If you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. This has been another chill vid, and I will catch you really soon with some more Microsoft Flight Simulator goodness. Alrighty, folks. Ciao.